Good day everybody and welcome back. Today is a Saturday. It's about, well, coming up to lunchtime and it's the first weekend of lockdown. Excuse me, itchy nose. So whilst we were in lockdown part 1, we developed this little recipe, if you like, because it suited our family. You've probably seen in various bake shops, whether it be Warren's or Greg's or whatever, pastry slices with usually bacon and cheese in, and that's great, and our daughter absolutely loves them because she loves bacon, but our son doesn't because he doesn't like bacon. So I bought a sheet of puff pastry just like this one, and we developed it to add all different things in to make them into something that we would all like as a family. So there's various variations on what we're going to do, and if I just show you the ingredients I'm going to use. So I've got a sheet of puff pastry, ready made shop bought puff pastry. I've got a packet of bacon. This happens to be smoked. It doesn't matter if you don't like smoked, you can use green bacon, it's not a problem. I've got sausages, and these are literally cheap Richmond sausages that I usually have in the freezer. I've just taken them out and defrosted them, and then I've chopped them in half so that they cook as quick as the pastry, basically. We've got mushrooms. We've got a tin of beans. What I would say with beans is try and buy a reasonable tin of beans, not as cheap as cheap, because you don't want them to be too watery. So I guess if you buy cheaper ones, you could always get them out with like a slotted spoon so some of the juice runs through, but you really don't need it to be like bathed in wet. And lastly, a huge pile of grated cheese. So all I do, this is so simple, and this will be ideal for a student or somebody like that because it's cheap, quick and filling. So start off with 1 sheet puff pastry. What I do is just roll it out a little bit so it's sort of a bit thinner, basically. Doesn't matter, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Then you get a knife and you cut it into 4. Now I guess if you wanted to, you could make like baby sized ones, but you'd have to work how many out your pastry. So literally all I do then is I take a piece of my pastry and I stretch it to make it into more of a square. I've got a little tear there, but it doesn't really matter. So you turn it onto its end, so it's like a diamond shape. We'll do a bacon one first. And then you get a piece of bacon, you put 1 piece there. You only get 1 piece in the shop bought ones, but hey ho, when you're at home you can do what you want. Put 1 the other way. And this is for our daughter, so she doesn't like mushrooms or anything like that, she'll just have bacon and cheese. So you put your cheese over the top, as such, and then you literally take this corner, fold it over, take this corner, fold it over the other way, and then you pick the whole thing up like that, stick it on your baking sheet. So we'll do another one like that, pick it up, stretch it a little bit, just be a bit gentle obviously. 1 piece of bacon that corner, 1 piece of bacon that corner, cheese through the middle. There we go. Take 1 corner, fold it over and fold it over, and then onto your baking sheet. Now with the sausage ones, We don't put cheese on these because our son doesn't like cheese. So I get a piece of pastry, stretch it as I have done. And then I'm going to get sausages. So half of sausages and lay them flat. You're going to get 2 sausages in each one. Like that. And then you get your beans and try and sort of take it from the bottom where they're thicker, and you put a couple of spoonfuls of beans over. Okay, don't go right to the ends with the beans. And then you literally fold them over like you did the others, like that. And you pick them up gently and onto your baking tray. Last one, we'll do another sausage. One, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't have to be tidy because it's all going to get wrapped up and baked lovely. There we go. One corner over, tuck the other one over, gently pick them up onto the bake. Now, so 1 sheet of pastry makes 4. What you do then is your oven needs to be, if you've a fan oven, it needs to be 180. If you don't have a fan oven, go to 200. These are going to take about 20-ish minutes to cook. Last thing you do is literally just paste some egg wash over to make them look nice and help the pastry stick to each other. Not that that matters, to be fair. As you can see, we got a fat one, we got a thin one. It really doesn't matter. Nice bit of egg. Seasoning wise, I would say if you are using cheese, you don't absolutely definitely need any salt because it's salt, you know, cheese is quite salty. If you're doing beans or something and you want to, I mean, you can add cheese to your beans, that's not a problem, it's just our son doesn't like that. And if you want to put something like maybe Worcester sauce in your beans to add a bit of a kick to it, you can do that. Not a problem. It literally, whatever you can conjure up in your mind, you can absolutely make. So these are going to go in the oven now for about 20 minutes, maybe 25. I'll keep an eye on them. And then I will show you when they're cooked. I'm going to come back in a minute to show you a little bit of a different recipe, well, the same recipe but different ingredients, because me and John like ours a bit more stuffed, should we say.
Stuffed is the best word.
It's a good word. We sort of call them a breakfasty one, but I'll show you in a second. I'm going to get these in the oven and I'll come back. So, those slices have now cooked and they're cooling. So as you can see, they go lovely golden brown. The pastry broke a little bit on this one, but it really doesn't matter. It's got to be broken to eat anyway. And I think you'll find that it's probably a fraction of the cost of buying one slice, because I know that one slice is more than £2 a time. So the sheet of pastry cost me £1 and I got 4 out of that. And then obviously your fillings depending on what you have and what you want. So I'm just going to feed the kids these because they're waiting for their lunch, and then I'll come back and show you mine and John's take on these things. Okay, so savoury slices part 2. This is the John and Kelly variety, if you like. So we're going exactly as before. I've rolled my pastry. I'm going to stretch it a little bit so it makes more of a square. But this time we are going to add some mushrooms or some tomatoes and basically mess around with what we've got. Now, the one thing that I will say is we have tried them with both tomatoes and mushrooms in the same slice and it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because there's too much water. So you have to choose, I'm afraid, whether you want tomato or mushroom.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't think mushrooms have water, but there's water in them and it squidges out of them.
Yeah, they do. So I'm going to do what we did before. We do some bacon, because John and I both love our bacon. And I'm going to do mushroom. And again, you don't want to put too much. Don't overload it because it has to cook in like 20-25 minutes. So that's probably more than enough. And
just
then,
put one flat layer of each ingredient, really,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
John, do you want beans in this or no?
Got some, you can throw some in. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I put, this time I'm literally going to put 1 spoonful in the middle because, like I said, there's going to be a lot of water because of these mushrooms. And then a good handful of cheese on the top.
Like we said, this is just variations on a theme.
And if you don't particularly like breakfasty things like mushroom, bacon and sausage and that sort of stuff, you could also do these things with something like ham. Ham and tomato would be a good one.
Yeah, ham and cheese would work as well.
Ham and cheese. If you're veggie, you could do just cheese and tomato, or cheese and mushroom, or whatever. The actual possibilities are endless.
A bit of onion would work. Onion rings would be
yeah, onion would be good.
Good.
The only thing you need to remember is that you need to sort of try and cut things so that they're all around about the same thickness, so that they all cook in the same sort of amount of time. This one I'm going to put a little bit of sausage in, just because we had them left from the kids. And I'm going to put some tomato, 1 each end like that. And I will put a few beans over the middle, like that. And obviously cheese.
I think cheese just helps because it holds everything together.
There's nothing better than a nice cheesy thing though, is there? Come on.
No, cooked cheese is amazing, really.
Yeah.
That's why when you have a toaster, you always kind of eat the
Exactly.
crunchy bits off the sides first before anything else.
So, again, you need to sort of try and bring them in together, and then it all falls off like that.
Because you get carried away, but that's what we do with these things. It's fine.
There we go. Once they're on your baking sheet, they're safe. So shove it all back in there.
Another option would be bring the baking sheet a bit closer.
Well, that could be
Save the mess on the floor.
But hey, when have I ever done things?
We like living dangerously, don't we? Love?
Right, so what I'm going to say is that in a couple of days' time we will do a variation on these, and we will do a sweet slice, a fruity slice if you like. So come back. I mean, that recipe I would say is slightly more involved because you have to do a lot more prep, but the results are fantastic, and again, cheap as chips. So in these times when we're all locked down, people are on furlough or out of work or whatever, you've got a family to feed, 4 slices are ample for like 4 of you. I don't think anybody could eat 2.
Yeah, this is pretty much store cupboard stuff.
Exactly.
You know, frozen sausages, baked beans, bit of bacon in the house if you're lucky, burn a bit of cheese, whatever you got, throw it all in, it all kind of works.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll do the sweet ones in a couple of days, and I think you'll love those. And again, there's variations on that as well, but just a little bit more work in preparing them. So I think I'm going to leave you because, quite honestly, I'm trying to teach you how to suck eggs now, because once you've done one, it's easy enough.
Kind of done them all.
Enjoy them. Let me know your combinations if you come up with something weird and wonderful.
Yeah, comment below with different variations you think might work.
Because I reckon you could do things like curry
Yeah, possibly. I was saying we could also
like that.
maybe crack an egg in one if you actually made sure the edges weren't. Maybe it's more of a square and not a diamond, so you could actually do it.
You could probably get an egg in it if you did sausage and like left
And kind of shaped it around like a little.
Yeah, if you had sort of two halves with a little gap in the middle.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're going to do an egg, or if you're going to try an egg, do it already on your baking sheet because you'll never pick up an egg. It'll just go slide in.
I was just giving you a challenge.
Egg, put it on your baking sheet first, and I would suggest that you did it pretty smartish and get it in the oven as quickly as possible because you want it to try and set as quickly as possible. So this is our cheap and cheerful savoury slices, and I hope you enjoy them as much as we do. And we'll see you all again in a couple of days. Bye for now. Stay safe, everyone. Love you all. Bye bye.